Russia.
One of these little dudes out there that's been training, saying his prayers, and eating his vitamins, someday he's gonna knock me off.
He is the king of the ring, but many former wrestlers say it wasn't prayers and vitamins that made Hulk Hogan a giant in the eyes of kids.
I myself personally have injected Hulk Hogan with anabolic steroids.
Did the biggest star in pro wrestling get to the top by using dangerous drugs?
2, 1. For years, police believe this man posed as a talent scout, preying on the silver screen dreams of attractive men and women.
The guy was so good, you know, I never doubted him at all.
Now cops say they've got their man and have stopped him shattering the hopes of aspiring actors.
Swift is in. Chicago, we're coming to you first.
Audio check, 1, 2.
Then to L.A.
Oliver Stone's movie JFK has brought to light the ongoing controversy surrounding secret government files on the assassination of John Kennedy.
Nobody's going to tell me that kid did the shooting job he did from that damn bookstore.
Today, we'll talk with a man who says the government is covering up explosive details.
Stand by.
Welcome to Inside Edition. We're glad you've joined us. I'm Nancy Glass. Bill O'Reilly is on assignment. A little later, the curtain comes down on a con man who went after people with talent, beauty, and big dreams. Today, police put the Hollywood huckster out of business. But first, most of us think of professional wrestling as harmless entertainment and Hulk Hogan as the king of the ring. But was there a sinister side to his success? Some people now claim that his hard-muscled good guy image really came from his past use of dangerous drugs. Tony Cox has the story.
Pro wrestling, the only sport where you're allowed to kick a man when he is down. The only sport where you're encouraged to taunt your opponent. The only sport that has admitted to fixing the outcome. The undisputed king of the ring is Hulk Hogan. Hero to thousands of Hulkamaniacs, as his young fans are called, the Hulkster preaches clean living, prayer, and vitamins as the keys to success.
I'm the last great American hero since John Wayne died. Forget the baseball players. Forget the football players. Hulkamania is what tears Madison Square Garden and every major arena down around the country.
But some of his former colleagues say that the gospel, according to Hulk Hogan, is not quite kosher.
The kids are believing that if they take their vitamins and say their prayers, that they're going to grow up to be some super athlete. Well, I got news for you. You can take your vitamins and you can say your prayers, but you're never going to grow up to be 300 pounds with 24-inch arms unless you take steroids.
Dave Schultz is a former professional wrestler with the World Wrestling Federation. So is superstar Billy Graham. They both watched the Arsenio Hall show last July when their old wrestling friend Hulk Hogan appeared and made this statement.
I've trained 20 years, 2 hours a day to look like I do. But the things that I am not is I'm not a steroid abuser, and I do not use steroids.
But Hulk Hogan's former teammates have a very different story to tell about his past abuse of steroids.
I myself personally have injected Hulk Hogan with anabolic steroids.
I brought him into my home. I let him sleep in the house. I gave him food. And in return, he gave me steroids. He showed me how to use steroids.
Both men say that for years, Hulk Hogan was a heavy steroid user. And it isn't just their word against his. Dr. George Zahorian was the ringside physician for the Pennsylvania Athletic Commission. Last June, he went on trial for illegally selling steroids to professional wrestlers. Hulk Hogan was called to testify, but was excused at the last minute. Dr. Zahorian testified he had treated Hulk Hogan for a serious steroid abuse problem with success. Hogan says he only used steroids 3 times for treatment of an injury and under a doctor's careful supervision.
Their philosophy was, if I take 1 pill, it's going to make me strong. If I take 10 pills, it's going to make me 10 times stronger.
The wrestlers who testified at Dr. Zahorian's trial said that when they couldn't see Dr. Zahorian personally, he sent them steroids by Federal Express. Records show several Federal Express shipments from Dr. Zahorian to Terry Bollea, better known to his fans as Hulk Hogan.
Everywhere you go, every store you go in, you got Hulk Hogan. I mean, these guys, these kids, you know, all you should do is come out and tell them the truth. Quit lying to them. Tell them the truth and be man enough to tell them the truth, you know, and say, hey, I did steroids and, you know, I've done them for years and years.
It takes synthetic steroids to make you and give you the muscle mass and density that you see on wrestlers today. It's just a common logical fact of life.
Both Hulk Hogan and the World Wrestling Federation denied our request for interviews. The WWF recently began random testing for drugs, including steroids. But Dave Schultz has little faith in the WWF's testing program.
Only people that don't pass them is people that they want to get rid of. They're keeping all the tests confidential. I think it's a joke. It's just something else to cover it up. I mean, you know, it takes a fool to look at these guys and say they're not on steroids.
That way.
Billy Graham, World Wrestling Federation champion of 1977, is retired now. He suffers from devastating physical problems caused, he believes, by his years of steroid abuse. He wants people to see the price he paid for his moment in the wrestling spotlight.
Billy, what is it that you want from all this? What is it that you want the Hulk to do?
I want him to be honest. I want him to tell the American public, because of the overwhelming evidence of testimonies like people like myself and the common knowledge of all wrestlers who know him for years. He's taken steroids from the late 70s through the whole decade of the 80s. You know, I want him to come clean. He owes it to his fans. You see, he owes it to the children of this country.
And as you heard, superstar Billy Graham told us he wants to spread the word about the dangers of steroids. He's now making appearances in schools so kids can see for themselves how he has suffered because of his unhealthy pursuit of massive muscle.